So today we're going to talk about how to create a YouTube video, what kind of editing skills you need to create one, and what kind of software you need. So I use Wondershare Filmora 12. This editing software has a lot of capabilities, a lot of cool features to create YouTube videos. What my videos are tutorial videos about off-roading or tutorials of RV life. So my videos are always tutorials. When you're doing a tutorial, you are generally creating a lot of A-roll and B-roll. The differences between A-roll and B-roll is A-roll is you giving your entire description of how you're doing something. Like if you're talking about RVs, you're talking about how to fix the toilet or how to maintain your slides, or it's you're giving a tutorial on how to do something, and that's A-roll. You're talking about it and telling all the details of it. And once you get your A-roll created, so you're filming all your A-roll out and you're creating your length, it's like 7 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever it is, 20 minutes of talking about what you need to do. You create your A-roll, and now you need to fine-tune that A-roll so that it is almost perfect. And what I generally do is I go into the Wondershare Filmora 12 software. And by the way, I use Wondershare Filmora because it has a lot of tools that are really cheap to use to create your YouTube video. And it has a lot of tools to cut editing time down. For example, after I get my A-roll set, I say silence detection. I click that one. I choose my A-roll, which was this, and it's just me in front of a little green screen. And you can see the green screen isn't filling out the entire background. You don't need to do that. I'll show you how to make the green screen fit your background for you later on. What I do is on the silence detector, I say I want 0.9 seconds as the minimum amount of silence between a piece of clip I'm doing, and then I soften the buffer by 0.5 seconds. So this gives me 0.9 seconds of what I'm going to be cutting out in a softening zone. Don't ask me what the softening zone is, but it works. Now I hit restart, and that's going to process all the pieces and do all the clipping for me. So it's going to clip out all the silence parts and re-edit everything. As you can see here, it's clipping all this for me, all that work. This is like probably 20-30 minutes of labor I would have to do to clip all this out. Now I would say export to timeline, and it exported everything to the timeline, so I can hit play. So today we're going to be talking about spacers on your truck, and you can see everything's in there. It clipped out the silent parts here and did all the clippings for me. So now that I got this all clipped, I'm going to say export. I'm just going to name it clipped, and it's going to create this file and drop it on my desktop. It's already clipped out all the silent parts for me. So it does a good job of doing this. And again, when you're creating a YouTube video, you don't want silence in your video. You can have a little bit of silent time in your video, but you don't want a lot of silent time in your video. And this does a really good job of clipping that out for you. Now that this is complete, I will close this out, and it created a video on my desktop. I'm going to close this video out, don't save, and I'm going to say new project. This is going to create a new project for me, and I'm going to drag that clipped piece into the time frame. So now this is the new video with all of silent modes clipped out of it. Now let's work on that green screen. I'm going to go to Video AI Tools. I'm going to say Chroma Key, and because my green screen is kind of in the neutral, not this bright green, I'm going to choose this one. Now at this point I need a background image. So now I'm going to drop a background image in here. I'm going to drop it, remember right, it goes right up here, and I'm going to move this above it. There we go. Now the brick background, it's just a JPEG or whatever image you need. you can put it down here, and here is your original video up top. Now I'm going to choose a mask, and I'm going to say, and this is all into your video, mask and parallel lines. So I'm going to say I need to mask, and see how it's masking out the green screen zones up to the edge of my green screen. So I'm going to mask it as much as I can, probably right about here. Now I'm going to go to my original image, and I'm going to stretch this image to a wider zone, and you see how it just automatically fills up your background. And just like that, I've masked out that green. Let's go back to our original green screen, and I'm in video still, AI tools. I got my green screen, and here's where I'm going to soften. It's actually pretty good now, but if I need to, I can change the tolerance from 52 to, see the tolerance right there, see the green popping up. See how I'm disappearing now. So it's a fine line, maybe right at 50. Actually, right where it was is good. I'm going to change the edge thickness. Feathering. Feathering's good. I'm going to do the offset. There we go. See how the green comes in? It kind of disappears. And right there is where it's gone. I'm going to change my tolerance now to make sure that I'm good. 52 is still okay. My thickness, that's the edging. See my edging of my body kind of disappearing. So we want to have maybe 0.9, and feathering 2 is probably pretty good. I'm going to leave that maybe 1.18. That looks good. So let's hit play and see how it goes. So today we're going to be talking about spacers on your truck. So there you go. When do you need them? You can see, do you need them at all? And are there consequences? Now you see that the background disappeared, and I can actually see a little green here, but it didn't really affect the video any, so I'm going to leave it. What I'm going to do is that background image, I'm going to stretch it as long as my video is. So all the way to the end of the video. Now my background will be always across the entire background of the video. So now when I play it, for having spacers, is there that image will be always for having it? Is there a good reason? That image will always be behind me. You can also have videos, so it's not just images. You can have a video behind you of the ocean going. So whatever background you need, you can put on here. So B-roll, this puts some B-roll up there, and I'm going to grab something that's not really related. I'm just going to throw it on here and show you how it works. So now I'm going to drag a piece of B-roll onto the film, and we'll just drag it right there. Looks good. So let's say I was talking about off-roading and talking about splashing through the mud puddle, and I want to make this a little more exciting to the customer. They don't want to just see me talking in front of a brick wall for 9 minutes straight. It's kind of get boring at that point. So B-roll is while you're talking, blah, 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 and you're talking about a specific subject. When you start talking about that subject, you can throw a B-roll on there, and you can give a little more excitement to your video. My B-roll, and I want to clear the air. I can now turn off the sound on the B-roll because I don't want the sound on the B-roll. I want my sound on there. So I turned off the sound, and now for having it, is there good reasons for having them? Are they safe or not safe? So that's what we're going to talk about on this side. And see, I can still talk about the subject on the B-roll, and it gives the video more drama and more content for the customer to see. So it makes your video more interesting instead of just you talking on a brick background. You know, that can be very boring after a while. You can also create drama in your video itself. So hold control and scroll your mouse up just to stretch your video out a little bit. So you can see jumping through the mud, blah, 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 kind of cool. So let's say I wanted this to be a little more exciting. I wanted to go hit the puddle fast and then slow down and make it look a little more dramatic. So I can go into this video's timeline, and I can say speed. So this video, we're going to make a speed ramp. And so now that I'm in here, I'm in the speed and speed ramping. and you can choose up and down, multiple. What I generally do is if I need multiple spots, like I need it to speed up and then slow down and then speed up again, or if I need many complex speed ramping, I need more than just fast and slow. So in this example, I'm going to do this one. This gives me multiple points to speed ramp this video. Generally, you don't want to make this thing flying through here, because anything more than a point, really a 0.3 or 0.4, it's going to look fake. You don't want your video to look fake. So let's start it with a 0.98, and when they get to here, the splash, I'm going to bump it up to a 0.4. Let's go right to here. We're going to go a 0.1 right here. When it hits the water, I'm going to kick it up to a 0.4. See what that looks like. And then once we hit, we're going to slow it down to even slower, like a 0.8. There we go, 0.86. I got a lot of struggle going through the water. Get some struggle showing. And right about there, we're going to kick this thing back up to a 0.1, which is current time. And at the end of the video, we're going to kick it back to a 1.1. So let's see what it looks like. So now the video, when it plays, it should have a little more drama. It's going to be running a little normal speed. It's going to kick some speed up when it hits the water and then slow down. So you can see it's going to get some speed, splash, slows down, and creates a little more drama. But you can't overdo this effect because it can look fake after a while. So you got to know what the limits are to this drama. As you can see here, it's starting to look a little fake when I'm hitting it. So it kind of had a little fake feel to it. So you kind of experiment with this, but you can actually create a little drama in your videos by doing speed ramping. That's just a little tip for, how to create more drama in your video. And like I said, you can add as many of these clips as you need. Here's another one. I'll throw it in here. There's many types of masking, and you can do like on this video right here, I have some video and I have some masking on it. You can choose different types of masking, circle masking, what size of masking you want for your video to pop in. You can say, I want this masking to be over here. So if your B-roll is going over here, you can move your video over there. So there's a lot of things you can do. Like for example here, I'll grab the video, or here's the masking, and I'm going to grab the video itself. Wait a second. Okay, I'm going to move the video, scale it down, position it. So it's going to move to the right, and let's just move it up. And I'm just using my up and down arrows on the keyboard to move it where I want it to go. So then I can move it, and you can move it where, like I said, wherever you need to. Now that this video is over here, I can play the B-roll and it's going to appear over here. So just some nice tricks. And another thing is you can soften the lines. You can say blur the edges, so it's not a hard window up here. And there's different sizes, styles of masking. You can do that style, the style. Just cut the sides, make it a star. Generally, I always use the rectangle or the circle. That's my general masks. Or if you're doing a full, like a green screen, it's the parallel lines. So that's just a good, tip for how you can do masks. Another thing is, this takes a little more creativity. Let me cut this out. I'm going to delete that video. I'm going to throw another one in. And I want you to see this. This is called creating a camera effect when your camera is not moving. Say your camera is on a tripod and it's not moving anywhere. Well, you want to have a camera effect for that video. So we're going to go to basics. Here's the video right there. And let's zoom in a little bit. We're going to zoom in. We're going to move the video over here. And now that I'm zoomed in and I move the video over there, I'm going to click the diamond here. And that's going to make a mark on my video. See how I got the mark here? And the end point way over here. See, it's kind of getting out of the frame. Now over here, I'm going to say make another mark. And we're going to zoom out. And I'm going to zoom it over here. So I move this over here. Now you can see how the camera looks like it's moving all around. It's focusing it in, and then it's pulling it out. See how it's focusing out, pulling it out, and then the camera is going to move with the truck. So that's what those vectors do. It's a nice way to create motion, even if your camera was on a tripod. It gives some more motion to that video. So that's my tips for this episode, and I'll keep giving you some more editing tips on how you can create these videos and make them, more dramatic, make them more fast, and make it more of a nice, interesting episode for people to see on YouTube. So if you like what I'm doing here, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next episode.